Matt, you gotta stop singing that Stellar Blade trailer, man. Like, I know you love K-pop. I know you love Stellar Blade. Now that they've kind of merged together and created a music video that you are a huge fan of, by the way.
Music video.
A music video. You just gotta stop singing it, all right? Like, it's
I'm assuming
catchy,
this is
whatever.
related to the. I mean, yes, of course. Yes, I loved it so much. You're talking about the AI one, the AI generated one?
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I didn't see it until I heard the AI controversy. Believe it or not, I was not hanging on the edge of my seat for a Stellar Blade music video,
Yeah.
but I saw people talking about this new trailer, and this is not the first time that a game company has released an AI generated trailer to try and generate hype for their game, and of course, it didn't go over well. And it won't be the last, but I will admit so this music video just kind of sucked in general. It was just kind of bland and boring and whatever. And creepy because that's what Stellar Blade is now, is like kind of young adults. I don't know. They're blending the line of some creepy stuff. But I didn't notice specifically what the AI part of this trailer was this time around. Like when they made
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah. Well, do you remember that like AI generated Subnautica trailer that came out forever ago? I believe it
No.
was Subnautica. Where Crafton like just made this garbage trailer for it, and there was like literally the stuff on screen was morphing into other things. It just wasn't. It
I think
was.
you're thinking of a DLC for the game Ark.
Oh, yes, you're right. You know what it is because it was all underwater. So I keep
Yeah.
thinking it was Subnautica.
Yeah.
You
You're
are
good.
right. Thank you for correcting me. But yeah, so that one looked really bad. This one here, because we saw the teaser trailer for Stellar Blade 2, and it kind of looked very similar to a lot of the visuals in this. So they probably trained the AI off of it, but I wasn't immediately going, "Oh, that's AI right there." Like, what?
Oh,
Yeah, what did you see
the
that?
mouth for me is what gives it away so quickly.
Okay,
The
when she
mouth is
wasn't lip
really
syncing.
uncanny. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, the backward, like the environments around her and just everything. It just looked to me very AI because
yeah,
it was. So yeah, I mean, I get why there was backlash because it's this giant company that's making a big game and they have a lot of artists. So it's like if you're going to do something like that, then use the artists that you have instead of whatever this was. So yeah, just another. Has any of these like big corporations making a AI video like, hey guys, isn't this cool? And then has that ever panned out? Has that ever worked?
Well, I
Listen, I
think
can't.
the question is have they released any videos that were AI that we didn't know that they were AI? Because
The
that's
survivor's bias.
essentially what they're going for, right?
The survivor's bias.
Yeah. And in fact, there's a little bit of a more AI controversy with Kingdom Hearts. They were releasing a bundle or something for it. And the key art for the cover art for the bundle, people were like, this looks a little fishy.
The key art or like actual key art or
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. The art of it. There was keys in the art. Yes, great, Matt.
yeah.
There was keys in the key art for the game. No, but they changed the artwork after there were some rumblings online about it looking a little AI generated, and I think they denied it. But we're getting to that point now where it's like bad art people are going to just say is AI art, It's like there's plenty of artists out there that can make some bad artwork for you. And then people will be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's AI generated," The tools are really bad at detecting it. So using AI to detect AI is like a very unreliable way of doing it, unfortunately. And so it's really just an honor system as far as we can tell, and everybody on the internet with a microscope going, I think that's AI. But I think we're going to get to a point, if we're not already there, where we're watching AI manipulated trailers and content and not even realizing it.
Well, if you're older and you're on Facebook, apparently that's all you're watching right now.
Yeah. Everybody's.
That's just it.
Are your parents being like, look at this video of this, like, of these cats or whatever doing this crazy stuff?
I don't think I ever had anything like that. No.
Okay.
No.
That's really common now, is like parents sending their kids like
hey, have you seen this crazy video of this cat that plays the bongos? Oh my gosh.
well, and it's like what's funny about it is they're using it to generate content that's not even like absurd. It'll just be like, look at these like cats and dogs snuggling each other or something like that, you know? And you're like, yeah, but that's AI generated. Like, because it would be too hard to find a bunch of cats and dogs that want to snuggle, right? Like, it'll happen. So it's not a preposterous idea, but they're just like, it'd be way easier if we just had AI make it. And then you've got the internet flooded with a bunch of fake garbage. And yeah, that's like the new thing to trick old people with now. First, it was scam emails, you know, like, oh, somebody's got your social security number. Call this phone number and we'll take care of it.
And now it's cute AI cat and dog videos.
Which is an upgrade, in my opinion, you know.
Or Fruit Love Island.
I don't know what that is. Am I out of the loop?
You know what Love Island is? Someone made a show.
Yeah.
That's just a bunch of hot fruit Love Island style. Yeah. Oh yeah. Welcome to the internet, brother. Welcome to the internet.
Oh wait, I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen the hot fruit. Dang it. Let's go. Let's go back.
I've seen the hot fruit. Let's go. Yeah. Oh my God. Peel that banana if you know what I mean.
Man, I never thought I'd say this, but can we just go back to furries? You know, like let's. At least I was like wrapping my head around the concept of it. I don't want hot fruit.
So shifting gears.
Yeah.
How you doing? We weren't here last week because you decided to spend time with your family and be a father.
I know. It's the summer, and summer is family trip time and vacation time, and I had a good time. We went down to SoCal. We did some swimming. We went to an aquarium.
Nice.
Yeah. I borrowed my uncle's mountain bike while I was down there because I was like, I got to get my fix, man. I'm just mountain biking now. And he had this old mountain bike that is like literally dusting off. And I took it out for a spin, and a couple miles into my spin, the back tire just exploded.
Oh, no.
And I was like, all right, well, my workout is now pushing this bike up a hill for 2 miles.
That sucks.
Yeah, but it was in general pretty fun. And
good.
Yeah, it made me realize that I don't think I'd have gotten into mountain biking if I stayed in Southern California, which is where I lived for about 10 years. You know, it was there for specifically for career stuff, but it wasn't it's just not nature-y. It's like flat, deserty, dry, and you need some hills, man. You need some hills, you need some shade, and that's what I like about the Pacific Northwest. I can go protect myself under a tree. It's nice. From predators or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. So the world of gaming, though, has continued to evolve since I was gone. Speaking of evolving, did you play Halo Campaign Evolved?
I did. I did not beat it, though. I played on legendary difficulty and slammed my face into hunters over and over and over again.
Heroic, man. Legendary is just, why would you do that to yourself?
It's so painful, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I don't remember that many hunters being in the game. I just don't remember them being, like, constant. You go, that's the stealth mission where you're infiltrating the Covenant ship. I was like, there better not be a hunter that, there's another one. Now I'm in the ship and there's more just over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Though, apparently they added in a mechanic that I did not realize because I guess I'm bad, is if you shoot off the back plate of their armor, they added in like a little spot that you can shoot.
Oh, that's different.
That makes it a little bit easier.
Okay.
It is different, yeah.
That really helps to know.
Yeah, like all the way back 25 years ago, if you shot him in the back, it was a weak spot. But now it's guarded by like a little armor, and then it will expose like this, like kind of, you just see this little weak spot, and you can shoot it, and you can take them down a lot faster.
That explains that, because, I do remember the weak spot, and I remember going for it in the new campaign and going, it's not that much of a weak spot anymore. I'm still dropping mags into their backs, and okay,
they'll do it.
So armor, that's good to know, because I Man, that one room on the Silent Cartographer where you like go down into a small room and there's two hunters in there and like you just don't have any good cover.
There's no space. Yeah.
There's no space, no good cover, and you're like, I died in that room many a times, just being like, okay, man, like, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah.
Uh,
You start to notice the flaws of older games
Yeah.
where they didn't really have a lot of variety. Like there's good variety in the original Halo for what it was at the time, but now you go and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just hunters. That's the big challenge. Or they
Mm-hmm.
just throw a bunch of the same thing, the same units at you, and that's the challenge.
Yeah, I enjoyed it actually. A hugely nostalgic take on the game
Mhm.
because I think that's what it is for many people, and that's
Yep.
certainly what the price of the game dictates is nostalgia. $50 for a single player only experience
Yeah.
that you can beat in essentially a day, um, unless you play it on Legendary like a crazy person.
Like an idiot. Yeah. Well, I won't say an idiot. It's got its novelty.
I had a fun time with it. I enjoyed it, and but what was interesting about it is so you take the outdoor levels and you're like, dang, this looks incredible, like,
And then you go inside.
and then you go inside, and the problem is that they were staying true to the design of the original game, and I think they were afraid to manipulate it too much because God knows Halo fans are nuts, right? If you change something too much or not enough, like whatever it is, they go nuts, right? If you don't do it just right, so nobody's going to be happy. You're always going to upset somebody. So I think they were afraid to change the interiors too much because then you're like, well, now it's not like the original experience. And they're like, yeah, but the original experience is like bland, basic corridors for miles.
Over and over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah. And they did.
I don't know. I don't know if it was my graphical settings, but like the interiors, they just kind of looked a little hazy, and I don't know, it looked like they just didn't look as nice as the outdoors for me personally. Just kind of, just only looked okay.
Yeah. And I think part of that was because they just weren't adding in details. They were sticking to the original design and visual style, and it just looked weird. It looked weird in comparison to such an incredible outdoor environment. And you're like, okay. And I don't really know what the solution is there, because I think if they did try and update the art to feel more modernized, I think they would have gotten a lot of more backlash, and it would have cost them more money probably to develop all that. So they're like, well, why don't we find the right hybrid? I thought the hybrid was fine. It was just a little distracting when you're like, okay, we can see what you can do. Now we go to super basic boxy interior corridors that are true to the original game, but also kind of stick out a bit. I thought it was challenging. I thought I was going to breeze through it, and I did not. I was like, I remember there's a guy around you remember that golden elite that they show guarding that door, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to find him.
I don't remember now.
Oh, okay. Well, every time they preemptively show you this golden elite in a cutscene on Silent Cartographer, the door opens. And you're like,
I know.
You're like, I'm gonna have to fight him at some point, and it's like an hour later. It's so much longer, and you almost forget about it, right? I remembered him. I knew he was coming. He still killed me the first time I ran into him. I was like, all I got to do is keep my distance. And then, oh, there he is. Crap. He's too close. And then he got me. And I was like, oh, that's funny that I'm still falling victim to all the same things that I did in the original game. And that kind of tickled me a bit because I was like, I know all your secrets, Halo. It's like, no, it's still a hard game. It's still got some stuff in it that's going to.
I was in middle school when I played that game.
Yeah.
With my buds. Middle school.
Yeah.
That was a long, long time ago.
Dude, I thought all my years of Halo and FPS experience would let me breeze through it. And I mean, on easy, sure. But like if I was playing I didn't play Legendary, I played Heroic, and it was still challenging. You can't just jump in head first and expect to beat it. I enjoyed it for what it is. I think it's overpriced for what they're offering, and
I agree, especially if there's no multiplayer at all.
Yeah, and it's hard too when you're like, there's Halo Infinite, and Halo Infinite's multiplayer is free. So
Right.
there's not a big argument to make it give it multiplayer because the servers would be dead in like a week or something. Nobody would be
Potentially,
playing
yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
I would still take the same route that they took in terms of just going for the campaign, but
hmm
just make it cheaper.
Yep.
$50 for what they're offering is a little much.
I agree.
And I'm not a stickler for the lore of Halo enough to be upset that they updated cutscenes or added lines and stuff
Oh,
like
they did.
that.
Yeah, that's right. They did add lines, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't bothered by that.
yeah, I wasn't either. I thought it added a bit of decent context for some stuff where the first Halo
Yeah.
is a little more vague, and this was like, let's give us some preamble, some lead up to what's happening. And I'm like, cool,
Yeah.
fine with me. But I'm not a purist in that way. So I think there's too many different brands of Halo fans out there for any Halo game to be universally loved at this point.
As you said, you can't satisfy everybody.
Yeah. So that's one of the new games that I played. We let's see. So Battlefield.
Do you have a chance to play?
Yeah.
We can talk Battlefield if you'd like. But I was going to say, have you tried out the Hell Let Loose Vietnam beta number 2? Well, I guess the final one.
No, but I'm going to. I have a plan to check out. I don't know if it's the beta, but the new game. Anyway.
So the beta happened last week, and it was like it's basically the lead up. There's going to be the game comes out, I think, on the August 13th.
Yeah,
is the full release. Couple months ago, we had the last beta, and it was rough. It was like, oh boy,
I played
this is not good.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, you played it. Lagging characters out in the distance, like you literally can't even shoot them because they're so stuttery. Things popping in constantly, just really, really rough. This time around, not flawless, but not like, holy cow, this game is going to die day one, kind of like bad, right? Ran much better. Performance for me was fantastic. Didn't really have any issues. Some pop in here and there, but ran a lot smoother for everyone that I talked with. And that was really the biggest issue that people were experiencing in the first. So that was nice to see. And just overall, it was a lot of fun. I hope, and I know this is going to sound a little silly because it's Vietnam, I hope that they have more maps that isn't mainly just jungle.
Yeah.
Because if it's just jungle, every map is going to feel almost the same with a couple of like key objectives here and there, because the in between is going to be literally just jungle.
Yeah. Battlefield Vietnam is a good example of trying to make the maps feel different, because they did have some city maps. They had some big, and then they managed to differentiate the jungles a little, where some of them would be like deep jungle, some would be like rivery jungle with more open spots. But it is a problem with Vietnam era FPS games where you're just like, man, visually they don't have a lot of exploration here. It's either jungle or maybe a small village or a city. The city fights get kind of bland too, because they're all kind of bombed out buildings and stuff anyway. So
yeah. So hopefully they're using their creative juices. You could say that they just need to do like what Battlefield 1 did, because Battlefield 1, while much bigger in scale, or I should say World War 1, much bigger in scale, the vast majority of like World War 1 was a lot of trench warfare, to my understanding, right?
Yeah.
And Battlefield 1,
muddy. Yeah.
Yeah, muddy trench hell, right? Just hell on earth. Battlefield 1, it's got that, but it's definitely way more diverse with its map variety, right? So hopefully they can kind of channel some of that, where it's like they'll take some creative liberties. Yes, this isn't a true representation of what Vietnam or World War I, whatever you want to, it wasn't a true authentic experience, but for the game's sake, I'm hopeful that they are trying to be a little creative with their maps.
Yeah. I feel like Vietnam FPSs are just going to basically be in the indie space now. Occasionally Call of Duty or Battlefield tackles it, but they don't go full bore with it. It's kind of like,
I think the last time we got a Vietnam one was Bad Company 2.
Yeah, which was the DLC for Bad Company 2.
Yep.
And that might be the approach that like a lot of AAA takes if they want to deal with it. Because I think it is, it's just a little hard to get into. There was like a a Far Cry style Vietnam game. I'm trying to remember what it was, but I remember that getting really boring too, because all you were doing was like moving around to jungle the whole time. I was like,
Yeah.
more jungle, more jungle, more jungle, more jungle.
Yeah.
It
I
gets
mean,
stuck.
it's what Gray Zone Warfare is currently struggling with, and they're doing a good job of diversifying their playable space. But at the end of the day, like you're basically just in a
Yeah.
giant jungle, and you
Me,
got to make that interesting.
he's by the tree. He's by the tree over there. He's
Yeah,
by the tree.
he's by the bush. That was basically our call outs when I was playing with some buds. Is he's in
Yeah.
the bush? They're in the bush
Yeah.
the entire time.
Yeah. Well, so we kind of missed talking about BF6 season 4 a little bit. Well, no, we did talk about it actually.
We talked about it, yeah. But there's been some news about Battlefield and Beyond, because
Yeah.
oh boy, season 5 looking pretty nice. No,
3 maps, right? Yeah.
oh, so 3 maps.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, the big one off the top of my head at least is 3 maps, 2 rework maps, so 5 maps total. Because who plays on oil fields and New Sobek City on their own volition, right? So if you
Yeah.
don't actually play those maps, you're getting those back, and hopefully in the rotation, because they're gonna, fingers crossed, be good. Server browser, I think they're gonna add proxy VoIP, I think, in season 5.
I think that's coming. Yeah, I forget if it's at the end of this season or early season.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously a bunch of new weapons. There's going to be new events and stuff. But the
Server
big thing
browser.
is yeah, there's the server browser and the 5 maps, essentially 5 maps, but three new ones being introduced.
It sounds pretty loaded, dude.
It does. I'm thinking this is like they're going to be their big push to get people coming back, because already people are coming back. The game is doing it's doing better each season. More and more people are playing, but the thing is that I think with that much content, this is kind of like, hey, come back and play Battlefield 6. The thing is though, server browser isn't going to come at the beginning of the season. It'll be apparently like in December. I'm like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
It's a server browser.
I know.
Ancient technology.
It takes a while. Obviously, they want to get this stuff out as soon as they can. Like, there's no reason to delay it. I don't think they're doing it to like
I don't think they're
spread out
sitting on it.
content. Yeah. So obviously, release features when they're ready, but it is disappointing that it's coming afterwards, because you're like, boy, that would have helped a lot more if we had it at the start when we got all the content as opposed to afterwards.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do a mix of, because I think they want to have their matchmaking system, and I think they want to have both.
Yeah.
I think they want to have both of those. So there's probably going to be like persistent servers, and then you could also, if you just want to, you can just hit like, I want to play Rush, Breakthrough, and then just hit play, and then it will just go to the maps that you've selected, and you can, because that is one nice thing about the matchmaking is you'll just, if you want to play a game mode with only a certain couple of maps, you can do that, right? So that is nice.
Yeah.
But if you're in the wrong region or it's late at night, you might have to wait for them to fill up and or never fill up, and it's just filled with bots.
Yeah. And there's that kind of, it's like a paradigm almost, where it's like either you have an auto matchmaking system or you have custom servers. They don't mesh well, because often the matchmaking system ignores custom servers, because custom servers have parameters or things that would annoy somebody who's looking for classic standard Battlefield when they hit the find match button. So, and then the custom server guys get annoyed because they're like, well, the front end user face is basically hiding my server and not letting people join it, and it's hard to build up a community and all this other stuff. So finding the right balance of that is really hard, and I haven't seen any games do it successfully. So we'll see what EA comes up with here for a solution. But that is the biggest challenge, right? Is people want that classic build the community, build your server, build a custom map rotation that everybody likes, and then also the I just want to hit a button and play the game crowd, you know. So it's a challenge. We'll see. I think ultimately it's going to favor matchmaking, and the custom server crowd is not going to get exactly what they want. But I don't see any everybody wins solution to this, unfortunately. What do you think's going to happen with the future of Battlefield? Season 5 looks amazing, but
I think they're. I was trying to look for the source, but apparently they have confirmed there will be more content after season 5. So we will be getting something.
yeah,
I don't know entirely what.
skins.
I'm sure we'll get. I think it's gonna be more than that.
Cool.
So yeah, I think that's the right call. I mean, I don't want them to
For
just
sure.
abandon it. I want, because then we're gonna get another Battlefield after Battlefield 6, right? It's not gonna be a forever game.
Yeah, but
So-
hopefully not a 2-year cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Give me like 2 years of content for Battlefield 6, and then if they need to like trail it off for a year because they're all working on Battlefield 7 or whatever the next project is, fine, right? But yeah, I don't want game next Battlefield to be right off the rip.
Yeah, support the game, give it a good content tail after launch, and then move on. But this is sort of a good test moment for EA. Is like, hey, you've got a good game. People are coming back. They're enjoying it. It's got a post-launch community that's very into it. Hopefully, it's monetizing decently because that's what really makes or breaks whether or not EA supports something. So I'm like, hopefully people are buying whatever cosmetics, battle passes, whatever they got to do to make that profit model worthwhile for them. And hopefully it's also a good incentive for people to buy the base game, right? Like for people who haven't jumped on the Battlefield train yet, they're like, wow, look at all this extra content that I get for free.
Right.
So hopefully that's
basically what No Man's Sky's been doing for the last decade.
Yeah.
Right. They have none of their content they haven't charged a single thing for their content other than the base game. And they've somehow been able to keep the lights on for this entire time.
Yeah. Well, it helps when
different company.
I don't know how many tens of millions of copies they've sold of that game.
Right. Right. But I was just trying to give an example of
yeah.
When you keep supporting the game, people will come. They'll be like, oh yeah, well now, yeah, of course, this looks fantastic. I was waiting for it to get good.
Yeah.
I just checked Steam charts, Battlefield. This is a couple weeks after Subaru Reef has come out, so it's not like it just 80,000 peak 24-hour concurrent. So
it's crazy, man.
Pretty decent.
That's
pretty
kind
good.
of unheard of. Like that's
for Battlefield, yeah.
I think it might actually literally be unheard of for Battlefield. It's quite
2042 when it went free to play for a week got up to 100,000, but that was because it was literally free.
Yes, yeah. It's crazy, man. It's cool. I'm excited for them. I do think it's funny the metrics for what you can do with a game, like what we're talking about with No Man's Sky, change massively depending on how big your success is, right? So it's indie devs can't just make all this content for free or anything like that. It's like, yeah, if you succeeded so much further beyond your initial goals, you're like, well, cool, we can now dedicate like $50 million to free content over the next like decade or whatever, and if that helps improve the sales of the game, then maybe we can allocate even more. And it's like, cool,
right?
I love it when those metrics work out. Hopefully EA puts a good chunk of money back into the game and not just into their CEO's bank account. I think you heard about the Andrew Wilson bonus.
Yeah, I did.
This is commonplace. I know. This is commonplace in the game industry, but it sucks that it is commonplace. It sucks that hearing a story about a CEO getting a $38 million bonus the same year that they fire a huge amount of employees from their most successful titles that earned him that bonus. You're like, it's not surprising in the slightest, especially since we've been through the Bobby Kotick era of Blizzard, and he took insane bonuses, like just the most egregious things you could imagine. So this pales in comparison to that, but it's still terrible. You got teams of people losing their jobs. They shut down Ridgeline in Seattle, an entire team dedicated to making the Battlefield single player, which sucked, by the way, because then they had to like salvage whatever that was.
Yeah, they scrap something together.
Yeah, the BF6 campaign was garbage, essentially.
Wasn't great.
It was not good. And and then they're like, oh, game super successful, massive bonus and fire team. And it's just weird. I think we're in a culture of just like, I don't know, grossness when it comes to finance, the concentration of wealth. And it just feels like I don't know if this stuff is going to change on a incentive system. But I think it needs to change on a cultural system where I do know that different cultures don't like look at the gain of wealth in the same way, where it's just like, oh, I got to
like
have
the Nintendo CEO back in the day when the Wii U, I think Wii U came out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't doing very well. And so he took a pay cut
Yeah.
instead.
Exactly.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. Do something good. Or like, not to like build up, people like Steve Jobs, but it's like he, notoriously took like $1 a year salary or something like that. Granted, he had huge stock options.
I think Steve Jobs has some, he's got some baggage, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? There's CEOs that are like, obviously I have a vested interest in the company. I have stock, right. I have whatever, but I don't need these crazy bonuses. I don't need to flaunt my wealth like a lunatic, What's more important to the longevity of the company?
Firing this team up, obviously.
Yeah, but should I fire this team or get my sick bonus? Because there is absolutely a way they could have kept those teams on if certain CEOs or executives didn't take their bonus. But those executives are saying, no, my $38 million bonus is more important than 40, 50 people having jobs for the next few years, and you're like, okay, like, I think it's gross. It's hard to find any way of looking at that that isn't gross,
Yeah. I mean, we don't know how much involvement he has in the decision making for why certain things were successful or not like, obviously he's the CEO, big decisions are being made. We don't really know. So I'm not going to bat for the guy by any stretch of the imagination, but
it's tough.
It comes across really callous. It doesn't come across well to take that kind of money while also hearing about layoffs all throughout the year.
Yeah. And I've gotten tired of, I've noticed myself responding to these kind of stories of like, yeah, but that's just par for the course, man. That's just what happens. Because it does happen. It happens all the time. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of bad though, that we've come to normalize this, right?
Yeah, it is kind of bad.
We've started to really normalize. Well, if you're a CEO,
these are people in their lives. Yeah.
What's wrong with taking stupid amounts of wealth out of your company while other people are struggling to make it and all that stuff? Especially the people who helped build that wealth for the company.
Right.
Anyway. Oh yeah. And EA is right on the edge of, they said they're going to close this week on the Saudi buyout deal. Which is, I've been reading up on what kind of deal it is. Cause I don't sell companies and know all this stuff.
Idea,
it's a leveraged buyout, and it's apparently the biggest leveraged buyout in history, according to an article I read. Because so basically they're borrowing money to buy the company, which is what a leveraged buyout. I guess Saudi Arabia and whatever.
So why is EA in debt if they're being bought?
So
how does that work?
That's because it's a leveraged buyout. So they're borrowing money, which puts them in debt to buy EA, and then they saddle EA with that debt. And they go, hey, we're now 20 billion in debt because we borrowed that much to buy you. Now you guys have got to figure it out. And
that's so interesting. Okay.
You know what's going to happen. People are going to get fired because they're going to go, how do we make it in the green? We got to make 20 billion.
Yeah, we got to make our money back. Hopefully they'll see it as a long-term investment and they'll create quality products, keep their veteran developers on the job so that they can create fantastic games that will sell to many audiences around the world, and they'll make their money that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too worried about Battlefield because Battlefield I would be worried about Battlefield if this happened during the BF 2042
Oh
era.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
then you'd be like, oh no, they're going to cut EA because they'll have no faith in it. But since BF6 is doing well, um, they're gonna keep it doing well. But anything that's not looking that great on the balance sheet right now could get cut
Could
very
get cut.
easily.
Yeah,
So,
it's possible.
because yeah, companies are like, I don't know, they don't have a good long term vision for stuff. They're just like, oh, this doesn't make money right now, kill it forever. And you're like, okay, it might have made money in like 4 years or something, but whatever.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of stuff is
Fingers
changing, man.
fingers crossed it goes well.
Yeah, yeah. There's well, I don't talk about Star Citizen too much lately because I haven't been playing it that much. But there is an interesting moment that's going to happen soon for Star
Okay.
Citizen. Maybe I'm hyping this up a little bit, but in
Oh,
my
it's okay.
mind,
No, yeah. Hit
this
me with
is
it.
this is a good pivotal point for the game. So,
Okay.
Star Citizen, we talked about this a little bit recently, where they're working toward instancing. Basically,
Yeah.
instead of having a always persistent living multiplayer universe, you create little pockets that are just for you and me at a specific moment, and we get to control that. And then when we're done with it, we leave and the instance disappears. This is what World of Warcraft has been doing. If you do a dungeon or a raid or whatever, it becomes a little instanced pocket of the universe. It's old school tech, been doing it forever. Star Citizen finally figured out that they were going to need to do that to make this stuff work. Well, one of their first tests that I believe they're testing in a closed test environment is for the Siege of Orison. I think we did that. Did I drag you into the
I never
Siege?
did it. No.
Okay. I thought you did that with me. It was like this big FPS event where you went down to Orison, you got in this big group of players, and then you fought your way through armies of enemy NPCs and eventually landed on this floating island in the clouds and battled even further and shut it down or whatever. And it had some really cool elements and you could see where they were going with it. But the servers just all went to poop as soon as anybody got there. It was just like AI weren't moving. When they did, a whole wave would just spawn in front of you. All the damage would stack in the exact same frame. It was just a nightmare. Like there was you could see what they were trying to do, and then the netcode just absolutely killed the experience. It was miles from being fun and buggy, and the mission would break half the time. So you'd get to the very end and be like, oh, I'm pressing the button and nothing is happening. Well, that's because the servers are bogged down and it's breaking. So they're testing this as an instance, and in my opinion, this is really sort of the test case for whether or not Star Citizen can be that amusement park multiplayer game that they're going for, which is that you go around and you do all these fun experiences and you have your little amusement park rides in different parts of the universe. If Siege of Orison does not work as an instanced experience, I don't know what that says about the future of Star Citizen. So they can't
even get that right.
Yeah, they got to get it working. They got to prove that they can have these grand experiences or grand feeling experiences in the universe where you get to be part of a big space strategic assault with spaceships and infantry and all that stuff. Otherwise, the whole concept, in my opinion, is just, it's not going to work, So it's an important moment for me, for my outlook for Star Citizen's multiplayer, because if they get it working, it could be amazing. And if they don't get it working, then I go, well, what's the plan now? That's it. That's all you had.
Well, they find themselves in a pickle because I think instance combat, whatever we want to call it, right? Instant content is fine for a game like Star Citizen, but I feel like the whole appeal. Do you feel like this is because it's not a cop out? Do you think they have to scale back their vision? Because the whole idea of Star Citizen is that you are always around other people, and then if there's a guy who's in like this part of the universe, you can just fly there and you'll see him all the time. Yeah, right. That's kind of the whole appeal. So that way, when you actually get into what I think is the meat and bones of the game, which is building bases, going on missions, moving resources around, pirating other people's ships and stuff like that, that can't be instanced, or well, it technically can. But if it's not feeling grand in scale, then you kind of that's sort of what the game is
Yeah.
advertised as. So
I don't think it's
yeah,
a
I guess it
cop
depends on
out.
how they're going to go about it.
I think it's the result of scope creep. So
Yeah.
the game that you're describing and what they kind of initially marketed to people of this always on, always persistent universe
Yeah.
is a very different game than what they're actually building because they wanted both. They wanted big connected universe and they also wanted highly crafted sequences and missions and events. You can't have both of those things working together without creating instances. And so you could take other games like EVE Online as an example of like, here's
So
a
it'll be a
whole...
tool in their toolbox. It won't be completely changing the way you play the game.
Yeah, exactly. So EVE Online does the same thing where we know of it as a fully functioning living universe and people own certain sections of space. And if you go over there, you're going to get killed by that group or that organization.
Right.
But you can still run missions in little pocketed safe zones. The thing is those missions are so basic and kind of boring that they almost don't become a marketing aspect of EVE Online because you're like, whatever, they call it ratting or whatever sometimes, where you just go out and you kill the rats in asteroid belts or like these missions. That's essentially really bland and boring. You know, the missions aren't anything special, but Star Citizen is trying to make them really special. And so it's going to be a major attraction for a large part of the player base, but they've just blown up the concept of Star Citizen so much that it's becoming that everything game where it's like, you could be a farmer on a planet and somebody else could be a bounty hunter in space and somebody else could just run the narrative quest missions and stuff like that. They're just trying to make everything. And so rather than it being a cop out, I look at it more of a problem of just feature creep. They've tried to make it an everything game and now they're just running into the massive tech debt of making it an everything game.
yeah. I mean, there's a reason why we don't have games like this out, right?
Yeah. But if this works well, it could be really encouraging, right? Because I do think the set piece stuff in Star Citizen is cool. It could be extremely fun. And then when I'm like, hey, Matt, you got to jump on Star Citizen and see this thing, then maybe we won't be stuck in like loads.
And you can participate and you can actually engage in the combat. And it's not just, oh, we went at the wrong time and it's already over, or oh no, you know, we're being bombarded by So it's I agree. Instance can be a great tool. So that's exciting. I hope they can make it work and make it still feel grand in scale.
Yep. And I find the biggest naysayers are the people who just want to gank and abuse these systems where it's like, and that's what happened, where they would do these big space battles where everybody's supposed to group up on one side and fight the big NPC army that comes through in space. And it's a big space battle. Well, obviously what would happen is clans would join and just gank all the players and take all their stuff and be like, and just ruin the event essentially. And they're like, one side of that is like, yeah, but that's the open world and whatever. And the other side is like, yeah, but this is supposed to be a handcrafted event. They don't mix together. So they have to.
I don't know how they're going to be able to make that work, but
well, you instance it. I
know you instance it. I get that, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. It's complicated, right? They made it a very complicated game.
They definitely did. They definitely did.
Yeah. You remember how physical games are going away forever? And
yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Well, so Sony announced that they're getting rid of physical media in 2027, 2028, and Microsoft seems to be following suit, and PC gamers already buy everything on Steam. It's like, I don't know if you can even buy Steam games in a physical way anymore. But Sony released a statement that I thought was funny, which was like, basically said like, we've heard your concerns and we're going to do it anyway. Which is funny. It's like at that point, maybe just don't even respond. Right. I think there was just like a bunch of like signed petitions and whatever by like hundreds of thousands of people. So they felt the
need to be
like, we read it. We're going to do it anyway. It's a weird situation because, I mean, would you guess the amount of digital sales versus physical sales are? It's got to be insane, right? Where it's
I
like,
mean, it's going to be significant. Yeah.
yeah,
Everything's now online. People have adopted. I remember 10 years ago, console players that would have been foreign, right? But
yeah,
nowadays, especially after 2020 and everything like that, everyone wants the convenience of not having to go out to a store and
yeah,
just arrives. And well, what's better than having something you don't even have to wait for it? It's literally just download it, right?
yeah,
I would imagine it's a pretty hefty percentage is digital.
yeah. Um, and it's like, okay, people who are in like rural spots or places that don't have as good of a reliable internet connection tend to be some of the bigger customers for physical games and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And there's plenty of countries around the world that don't have good, reliable internet and good servers and all this other stuff. And so that becomes a much bigger factor for them. But on a
Mm-hmm.
spreadsheet, these companies are like, well, how much does it cost us to support physical games? How much do we make from it? Well, as soon as that equalizes, then we don't do it anymore, you know?
Right.
So from their perspective, like I understand, it's sort of a no-brainer. From the world perspective, it's tough because as they were having this argument or talking about it, guess what was happening? Sony servers were going offline. People couldn't play their games. Microsoft
I think
servers,
Microsoft too, right?
yeah, I think this happened the last week as Microsoft servers went down. People
For
couldn't
a
get,
while.
yeah, for a while. And then you just can't play your game. And it's not to say that physical sales would actually fix that problem because games are already designed around this. Like, well, if you want to play it, you have to have your account logged in so we can track your stats and all that stuff. And if you're not,
Right.
you know, if you're playing, even though you could play Diablo 4 by yourself, it's still tracking your account online and verifying that you're not cheating and
Yep.
verifying and saving all your data. So if the servers go
Yep.
online, you still can't play it. And the market for people who just want an offline character and just want offline experiences is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's not a big thing. So yeah, we're firmly, I would say we've been in the era already for quite a while of sort of needing an always online, always needing to be logged into some sort of account to play video games. And I don't like it, but I also don't see that ever changing. And I don't really see a realistic solution to it either. We've all become very accustomed to wanting our online services and
Well, I
integrations and
mean,
features.
the only real solution would be a cultural shift and a shift with consumers to prioritize physical media. And it's possible. Books, for example, for the longest time. How many years have you heard physical books were dying and that they were going to go away? And like,
Yeah.
it's, and now it's like physical books are pretty popular,
Yeah.
So it's possible to shift that mentality to want something that's more physical. It's not a one for one, obviously, but it could happen. Will it? I don't know if people will give up the convenience of just downloading.
Yeah. It's kind of funny actually, where so much of retail has been obliterated, in the modern economy, thanks to shopping online with Amazon and COVID and all this other stuff, just absolutely killing small businesses. But there are a lot of little bookstores around and big bookstores.
Mm-hmm.
There's the big franchise Barnes and Noble bookstores, and then there's all kinds of little pocket bookstores. And it is interesting. I hope physical books do well for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
The
I don't know if they're thriving and they're like, it's the best thing ever, like they're doing better than ever. I don't know because it's not
Yeah.
my industry, but they're still around, and from what I've heard, they are doing decent.
Do you read at all digitally, or do you read only physical books?
I only read physical. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
I also listen to audio. I listen to audiobooks too, though.
Gotcha. Do you prefer are there any issues with digital media reading wise?
Digital reading? No, I mean, because I have never tried it. My only thing is I'm already on a computer all day.
Mhm.
And so it'd be nice to get off of a computer.
Makes sense.
And there's also, it's nice just having a physical book.
Yeah.
There's just something really
Put a
nice about
bookmark
that.
in it and stuff.
As you said, just I don't have to rely on power. If I need a book, I just have a book. There's something really nice about that.
Yeah. That's actually what you said there is really interesting too, is you're on a computer all the day. That's what most people are, either, or they're staring at their phones a lot for social media or texting or email or whatever, and then they're like, I just need physical. I need ink on paper, man. I need to look at that.
Yeah.
So hopefully that remains a thing for a while. Also, you know what other industries are doing well? It's like board games. I think board games are doing pretty well.
I think there's a little bit of a resurgence of physical media. Like you get records have made a big comeback, right? Board games, like you said, books. So there is a growing desire to have that.
Hopefully
But the
movies, physical movies, man. That's what I really don't want that to go full digital. Like, that's
I hear you on that. I hear you. The only problem with games is that they're constantly being updated. And so even if you do own the physical game, you can't just like install it and then just play a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So it's not like a book where you can just pick it up and read it, or a board game that you can just play it. Yeah, the rules may have changed online, but the rules still work for that board game. It doesn't really work for a game, a digital or a video game.
It's hard because games are just too rooted in online and internet stuff. They were never, I mean, the original versions of them were meant to exist outside of that to a degree. But now that the internet has become so integrated with video games, that's basically what it is. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Weird. I just got crazy spam call. My phone was like doing something different.
It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I normally, do you get a billion spam calls every day?
Not usually, no.
I gotta like figure out a way to get off of these lists, man. They're too crazy. So I read this article that was interesting, but you know how every now and then you'll hear about a game that was like some major production behind the scenes with like years and years and millions of dollars spent, and then they just canceled it, and then you sort of hear about it because some of the devs are like, we want our work to be known about, you know, like I spent 5 years of my life working on this project that just got canceled one day and nobody even knows it existed.
One comes to mind is the Last of Us multiplayer game.
Yeah. They're making a mod. They made a mod to
someone's making like their own Last of Us spin-off. I think it's some of the devs are making it.
Yeah. I know it's interesting. So many games that you're like, oh, that could have been so cool. Tencent apparently spent 6 years and hundreds of millions of dollars trying to make a Grand Theft Auto competitor that was called Last Sentinel, or at least that was the working name of the game.
Yeah.
But they ultimately canceled it, I think, recently. So the story on that's kind of coming out. And I think it's interesting because there's a lot of, I would say, there's like GTA Lite, which I would call like a Far Cry Ubisoft style game, which is like you sort of have an open world and you kind of can go wherever you want and run the missions. But it's not quite as immersive or as deep as GTA, where it's like an everything simulator and the simulation is not broken. You know, I feel like Far Cry style games can get away with less. And I would even lump like, say, Cyberpunk into that genre a little bit, where it's like, it's still a very visually impressive world, but it just doesn't quite hit the full depth that Grand Theft Auto
does.
Can do. And so, those games have got to cost a lot of money. I mean, GTA 6, we know, has cost Rockstar just well over $1 billion in development. So the idea of Tencent really trying to compete with it and make their own competitor and giving up after 6 years, you're like, dang, that's crazy. Somebody ran the numbers at some point, was just like, the odds of us making this back. Yeah. I don't know if we need another Grand Theft Auto. And it might also be that situation where it's like World of Warcraft exploded so massively that everybody tried to make an MMO for the next 5 to 10 years to take it on. And not a single one of them really lasted, you know, like we have a couple. We have a couple now, but almost those ones kind of came after the initial.
Took a while, yeah. Because now we got Final Fantasy 14. There's Guild Wars. Those are Elder Scrolls, though. I think Elder Scrolls is kind of struggling now too, because
they
had a bunch of layoffs, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. And I think also their success is more like very niche nuanced. It's not
Mm-hmm.
on the level of some of these
Nowhere near.
other.
Well, Final Fantasy, I think,
Oh, yeah.
surpassed WoW at one point. I don't know if that's still the case because WoW's been doing better with their expansions, I hear. But I don't know. I don't
Gotcha.
keep track of that.
Gotcha. Yeah. But it is that situation where it's like, if there's already a really good title there, it's hard to jump into that market and
Yeah, why
compete.
would I go play something else when I can play the original?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like if Grand Theft Auto 6 launches and the Tencent game launches, everybody's going to play GTA 6
Yeah.
and then decide if they want to play the Tencent. Like, who's going to buy the Tencent game instead of GTA 6? Like,
Right.
it's just not going to happen. So you have to say,
Yeah.
well, I've played so much GTA 6 and I love it, but I've run out of content. So now I'll look at the Tencent game. And you're like, well, what's that market? It's got to be a small market, much smaller market.
Yeah, I think a lot of publishers have made this mistake over the years, assuming that they can go toe to toe with a product or a game that has an established player base and like, oh, we could just take some of that pie and it'll now be our pie and we can make some money that way. And sometimes it works. But there are very, very few examples of a game coming in and actually being able to surpass and overtake or even just compete with that original game. Marvel Rivals is one of the few because it's basically Overwatch, but third person, right? Valorant would be another, but these are from like really big established companies and it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. What other, you play any other games this week or?
I tried Mistfall Hunters. I played the beta, so you may have heard of it. It's the third person kind of dark and darker extraction game where you pick a class and you go in there and you start smacking things with giant hammers. And it's like $25, so it's relatively cheap. And you kind of somewhat get a cheap experience. Unfortunately, the combat can be really fun.
Yeah.
They have a fun combat system that right now isn't being uber abused to the point where I feel like if you're not meta, you're not getting dominated just yet.
Yeah.
But the server infrastructure is really, really rough. There's PvP, and if you when you're swinging at someone and you hear the chunk and then no damage happens and then they just dodge away, you're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I was like, and that happens over and over and over again. They have only two maps right now, and the second map I feel like just lags more than the first one.
Okay.
And so I was like, I'm just not even gonna play on this because it's literally unplayable. Like this just feels awful. So I've enjoyed my time. I've like 15 hours into it. So I put some time into it.
Okay.
But yeah, unfortunately, the server infrastructure seems to be a bit spotty for this first couple of days.
Very few games have accomplished the good feeling multiplayer melee experience.
It's tough.
It's so
It is
hard.
tough.
I don't envy anybody who attempts it. And even the ones that get it better, like I would say For Honor is probably one of the best examples of like multiplayer melee working decently. It's on a very small environment where it's just like we're going to find you somebody with the best ping, and then we've built the whole game around melee feeling decent. So we've figured out all the netcode issues, but it's like,
yeah,
that's because they're laser focused on only that part of the game working, basically. And everything else is like, oh yeah, we need melee combat to work in multiplayer. And like, okay, that's going to be a tall order, man. That's going to be tough.
When it's fun, though, it is fun. They have a dodge mechanic where if you get hit, you can get hit one more time, and then you will be able to dodge out of it. It's your way of so you don't just get stun locked. So basically, if you get hit, you're kind of stunned for a second, and then any other thing that comes next is going to hit you, right? And so what it means is that you have to kind of play this cat and mouse where you're trying to decide, do I actually dodge because he's assuming I'm going to dodge after I had the second hit, or am I going to go in for my own swing? Or you're hitting someone and you're like, I know he's going to dodge away after the second hit. So instead of going for it, I'm going to dodge alongside with him, or I'm going to like do a charge attack that flies me in the direction of where I'm assuming he's going to go. And when you line it up and you get that hit, it feels good. It does feel good when it's not lagging.
Yeah. Well, it looks interesting. It looks a little kind of boilerplatey art-wise.
It is boilerplatey, yeah. I wish them luck. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think it's a terrible game, but it doesn't have like a ton of content.
Hmm.
And I felt like it was getting a little samey by the 15 hours that I played. So I've enjoyed. I got my money's worth out of it. But yeah, it has some jank to it. Needless to say.
I see that. I see you watched the F1 movie, Matt.
Bro, I've been watching so many movies. Yes, I did watch the F1 movie.
Yeah. What'd you think?
And okay, absolutely fantastic cinematography. The sound design of the cars, the racing really makes you feel like you're in the race and everything. The story is so, how do I say this nicely? Bad? Like Brad Pitt, and he's charismatic. His friend I thought played well, but man, some of the dialogue that they had to go through and like execute, I'm like, this is just so awkwardly like paced. It's a long movie too. It's like 2.5 hours or something. I'm like, this didn't need to be that long.
I thought it was long too. Yeah, I was like, you could have cut a whole race, a whole section. Like I was editing it as I was watching it. I was like, that whole thing could have been cut.
Yeah,
we could
get
edit
it out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the racing and a lot. And I can see from what I've heard, the main character, Brad Pitt, he does a bunch of these things that are kind of like loopholes in the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And he did like a bunch of loopholes that happened over like 20 years and they condensed it into like a year of racing, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of fun, right? I was like, oh, wow. It gives you the impression that there's a lot more strategy involved and there's a lot more going on between the two racers on your team, which I thought was cool, right? I really like that part about it. So yeah, it was a fun movie. I just wish the actual story wasn't about just this dude who's apparently really good at racing swoops in and just kind of saves the day kind of vibe because he's just so cool.
Yeah.
And then he goes off and does it somewhere else. I'm like,
he's
all
just
right,
a
cool,
wandering cowboy.
Literally a wandering cowboy. Exactly.
Yeah. I agree with basically everything you said. It was tough. It's not, Brad Pitt's a good actor, but I thought his character in that was really boringly written, kind of. Because you're like,
all right. Yeah.
They don't explore him very deep, but then they give him a ton of time and screen time to explore it, and then they just don't explore it. And so you're like, why are we spending
cards at a wall over and over again? I'm like, okay, cool, I guess.
They have that like balcony scene where he's sort of talking about his, how he feels to the woman and whatever. And you're like, okay, but like, we didn't really go very far with any of that. So, and it's just such a long movie to have such sort of shallow characters to a degree. Racing was really fun, but if you compare that movie to say Ford versus Ferrari, where man, those characters had so much more feeling and the stakes felt higher. Everything just felt more intense. It was like they set that up well. It's not that the racing was necessarily shot better, although it was shot incredibly well in that as well. It's just that you felt way more connected to the characters in the cars,
Yeah.
And his teammate in the movie also they make him not likable. Like, I get it. That's the point at the start, is he's this sort of young upstart kind of full of
F1,
ego. Yeah. And then by the end of it, you're like, do we like him now? I'm not sure.
No, I was like, no, I still don't really like him. He's fine. He's all right.
You're like,
I'm now banding with the team. It's like, okay, dude, great. You're still kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not the greatest.
You're still full of yourself, and it's hard to like get over just what kind of
It's hard to be sympathetic for a character who's clearly like made it and is like, oh no, I gotta, hang out with the rich people and, and do rich people things. It's like, oh, what was you, dude? I guess.
Yeah.
He wasn't a very sympathetic character.
Yeah. But I thought it's funny because I noticed what they do in the movie is like a lot of the commentators that are commentating the race, they'll be like, oh no, he needs to change his tires because then this will happen. And I was like, you'd never hear that.
I needed that as a person who has no idea what's going on. I'm like, why is he doing this? Oh, thank you, commentators. Perfect.
I understood and respected the need of writing it that way. as a
Yeah.
F1 fan. I'm just like, all right, like we just got to deal with the most rudimentary basic commentary right now,
Yeah.
where they're like, this is why that team would do that right now, because otherwise you won't understand why they're pitting the car and all this other stuff. So
it was probably
fun.
tough for them to make it seem organic.
Yeah, I did enjoy.
They were trying to relay information.
Yeah. That the footage of that guy, of his backstory of crashing and stuff, that's actually real. That's from a real driver, and that happened to him. So his backstory is from a real race car driver,
a real person
that did have that crazy crash where he was literally laying in the middle of the track after his car exploded.
Cow.
And recovered after breaking like every bone in his body and went racing again. You're like, why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Because he's a badass and he lives for speed, baby.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting because when I was watching the movie, I was like, this looks just like that crash. Oh, it is that crash. It's that famous crash from like,
wow,
the 70s or whenever the heck it happened.
Yeah.
Dude, F1 was so dangerous back in the day. It's not that it's not dangerous now. It's that back in the day, they would have like an average of like 1 to 2 deaths per year. And you're like, what?
How are people signing up for this?
Yeah. You're like, those survival rates are really bad, guys.
Considering there's not a lot of people participating.
Yeah. Oh, man. Totally insane. Did you see He-Man? The movie?
No, but I've heard it was okay.
Yeah, it was for a movie based on a cartoon TV show that's based on a action figure, because that is the legacy of He-Man. They had an action figure that was known for rotating hips, I think, so it could like, do its little action moves and stuff. They're like, we really need to promote this toy. Let's make a cartoon TV show. And that show just did so well that not only did it sell the toy, but now we're watching the second He-Man movie, because they made one in the 80s, I guess, with Dolph Lundgren. And I think Queen did a song for it, or the whole soundtrack for it or something, which they bring Dolph
Masters of the Universe was this year. Yeah. And then... oh my God, there's so much AI slop. Holy cow.
Bro, the internet, man.
I literally, the first thing that pops up is an AI image. I'm like, why? It's not him.
Oh, man. You know what we need? We need to spend more money on AI to police AI right now. We got to get AI cleaning up the internet, man.
So did you like it?
Yes. It's not high entertainment by any means.
It's He-Man.
But there was the guy who plays He-Man, there was a couple scenes in it that were hard to get through, because they're like, now's the emotional scene, and you're like, let's see what this actor's range is, and you're just like, oh, this is tough. The best performance was Skeletor, which I guess was acted and voiced by Jared Leto.
Ironic.
But it was amazing. He was great in it. He was really funny. The movie's very tongue in cheek, where they constantly poking fun at the fact that like their characters have no depth whatsoever, because they're literally based on toys. And they're like, this is Ram Man. Ram Man likes to ram stuff, and you're just like, that's it. That's literally the whole concept of his character. There's nothing more to his character than he has a big
so they had fun
helmet.
With it.
Yeah. They had fun with it. It was very silly, very tongue in cheek, and not something that you're going to walk away from and be like, you got to see this movie, man. But I guess for what it conceptually, it should have been a disaster, and it ended up being fairly entertaining and watchable.
Well, cool.
I thought it was fine. It's so cheesy, man. It's hard to make any of that stuff work, because you're like, they come from a land called Eternia, and Skeletor's the main bad guy, and he's after like the sword of power or whatever, and nobody knows why. We don't know why he's here. We don't even know where his army comes from. He's just got a giant, endless army of minions that like fight for him. And you're like, why? Are people paid? Like, is it nice to work for him?
Do they get healthcare?
Yeah. We don't know. And then people defend Eternia for some reason, and they all seem nice and peaceful or whatever, but they also have to fight each other with swords. And there's tons of scenes where there's like guys shooting people with lasers and they're just dying. And then they switch to melee combat. And you're like, the lasers seem pretty effective. Don't know why we all decided
Lasers aren't as cool as swords, though.
Yeah. They're like, pew, 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 pew. 5 guys drop. 1 dude's left standing with a sword. And then the dude with the sword like charges into the rest of them. And they're like, why didn't you shoot that guy also? No?
It's because he's too powerful.
Yeah.
That is actually why almost every sci-fi that has like not most, a lot of the big sci-fi all have sword combat.
Yeah.
Like all of them.
Yeah.
And they always have a workaround for why they're sword combat.
Yeah.
And I find that fascinating because from a story perspective, at least when it comes to books, it's like, oh, they blasted them with their guns. Like, okay, cool. Like that's like narratively, it's not as exciting as, oh, there was an epic duel, you know, he thrust it in and yeah. So
yeah, for sure. For sure. I like Dune's explanation for it the best. Because they're really
shields.
try and sci-fi the crap out of it.
Yeah.
I forget what Red Rising's excuse was. Is it more just an honor thing or something? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I think it's that. I don't think there was anything that stopped them from just straight up blasting people.
Yeah.
But I can't. You're right. I should know because it's one of my favorite series. But it's also because they have like big power armor that they will like get into and allows them to like literally charge at people at like crazy high speeds and just go to town.
Yeah.
So there's that as well.
I think it works better in book form where you're not constantly seeing the visuals of them like, oh, I'm too slow and clunky with my gun that's designed to kill tons of stuff. I must switch to my melee weapon now. And you're like, that doesn't.
If you read the sequel, there are a lot of guns and there's a lot of death.
Okay.
From a distance. So it's not just melee.
Okay. Cool.
But there is some pretty awesome melee scenes as well.
Yeah. I tried Devil Wears Prada 2.
We're talking Alien Romulus, dude. Screw you.
Go.
I finally watched it. It's fantastic. I loved it. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It was great. Hands down, the best performance and best character was the android. I can't remember. Andy? I think his name was Andy.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sold it for me. Going from like the original, like beginning to like middle to end with this character. Absolutely fantastic. It was just a fun ride all the way through.
What did you think of the creepy alien thing that was hunting them?
I also liked it. I realized that I'm not scared by the Alien franchise anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I started leaning in because I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I was like, what's going to happen? So I learned something about myself that I'm afraid of the unknown. But as soon as I know, because I know what the aliens are, I know what facehuggers look like. I know what they all look like. Yeah. So there's no fear to that anymore. And so I'm just enjoying the ride. And it was kind of like Aliens Greatest Hits, right? Where they kind of do all the cool alien stuff they've done in the past, but really well executed. And it was just a fun ride from start to finish.
I agree. I enjoyed it. I also really liked finding out that the creepy, lanky, tall alien was actually a dude in a suit.
Is an actor, yeah.
And you're like, that's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying.
I saw that because there was some videos of that person. I can't remember. I don't know his name. I can't off the top of my head. But he was like baseball in high school, or sorry, basketball. Yeah. Because obviously every tall guy has to go to basketball, right? And so he's got such an interesting stance to him, and his gait, his walking and stuff like that is very distinctive. And so as soon as I saw him like stand up, I'm like, it's that guy, because I could instantly, it's like, yeah, it's him, which was cool. I'm glad he's getting work with stuff like that because it's really cool.
Yeah. We need some more lanky aliens in this production. We got to keep this guy employed. I see you saw Predator Badlands as well.
Also a lot of fun. Yeah. Found family kind of vibe. Yeah, I was watching a lot of movies. It's great.
I think Alien Romulus and Predator Badlands are like sort of similar like quality levels for their each of their genres, right? Or like
Yeah.
they're both fun and enjoyable. You don't have to get too serious about them, and there's some surprisingly decent performances in them. You know?
Yeah. Badlands was basically just an action flick, though. Like
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
just start to finish, just action with some little bit of comedy sprinkled in here and there. The action was really fun though. The
Yeah.
android, can't remember her name, I can't remember.
Yeah.
The joke I made is she's got a nice pair of legs because that makes it sound like I'm an asshole and objectifying her. But there's a scene where it's her legs and it's so cool. The combat where she interacts with her legs was super fun. It was really, really fun. So
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.
It was kind of like they just really wanted to have some fun creativity with the action, because normally I think we've gotten so used to action sequences being so bland and like uninteresting and non-creative, and it's like, man, John Wick 3, 4, 5, whatever they come out with, I'm just like seeing it. Like it's putting me to sleep at this point where they're like, now he's gonna do a flip off of this and shoot that guy and shoot this guy and do all that. And this movie was like, they're using sci-fi to really kind of push the envelope, and you're like, whoa, never thought of that. That's a cool idea. I love that.
Yeah. What if an android fought with its legs, but it wasn't attached? What would that look like? And they're like, this is what it would look like. I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So
it's dope because you're like, yeah, a super intelligent android could do all kinds of crazy stuff in a combat situation. Oh yeah, we always think of everything just like walking around and aiming a gun and then being accurate, and that's the measure of combat prowess, right? For like a robot. It's like no. There's a whole exploration here that we haven't even considered.
You can tell they had fun with it.
Yes. Yeah. So that was fun. You also watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. You've been watching movies, man.
Well, you also took the week off, so you know.
I go away for a week, and
I just watched everything. Also, really fun. Hyper. They were clearly trying to send a message and trying to have a message through it, which some people could maybe get a little turned off by that, but it was basically like, hey, this technology that we're using, like social media and phones, is maybe won't ever get that bad, but hey, it's not great, and this is the extreme version of it.
Yeah,
but it was a cool ride. I did like it. I felt like it got a little slow at times with its pacing, but it's like a fun time travel. I'm putting air quotes for the people that are listening. Time traveling kind of romp, and it was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first half a lot because I was like, "Where's this going?" And then when I saw where it was going, I was like, "Okay."
I feel like it. I also feel like it
towards the end, it really fell apart. I don't mind.
Though I did like the ending twist. I did appreciate the ending twist.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. You got to have twists in those types of films. I don't mind sort of absurdist plots where you're like, I can get on board with it. But I need some sort of connective logic through line. And when they start to break down their own, when you start to like disregard all the rules and then anything can happen in the next scene, like if, then I start to lose interest a bit. Where it's
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's like establish the rules for your.
We could talk about spoilers after the fact. We could do that after the stream.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. But yeah, it's like any universe, right? It's like Harry Potter, Red Rising, Star Wars, whatever you want. It's all fantasy and craziness, but you establish the rules, and then you stick to the logic of it. Yeah, and now you respect the universe more because it respects itself. And there's a lot of movies where I'm like, okay, I thought we were establishing rules at the start, and then everything kind of just went off the rails, and I'm having a hard time even following like what you're trying to explain now. And it's like, I get the message, it was clearly a movie where they're trying to like say a message, and then I got annoyed by the fact that the message took priority over following any sort of semblance of rules and like cohesion to the final bit of the film. But fun concept, silly concept. I was annoyed by the end of it though.
Fair enough.
Ah, man. Devil Wears Prada 2. Doesn't get I don't give it a recommend. Hey, you know me.
Hey, you gotta try. Yeah, you like your
I like
rom-coms,
chick
right?
flicks and I
Yeah,
like rom-coms, and I thought it kind of sucked, to be honest.
that's too bad.
Because the first one is like, it got such notoriety for being sort
It's like a
of,
cult classic.
yeah, it's like a cult classic. And so this one had every cameo on the planet. I don't even
Ugh.
know how many famous people were in this. It must have been hundreds, dude. It was insane how many cameos they had, and every single actor is huge. Like, huge, huge, huge,
So it just
huge.
takes you out of it.
It's not so much that, it's that they had all of this talent and kind of put together a boring film from it. And I think the hardest part of it is that the first movie, Anne Hathaway is pretty young, and she's sort of like
Yeah.
an upstart, and it's sort of that I need to prove myself. I'm the young person coming into a new environment, and oh my gosh, my boss is crazy and a monster, and somehow I'm going to prove myself. And it turns out that the monster's not really a monster, and she's a person, and we develop a fun relationship, and I work hard and get there. The movie takes place timeline wise, like everybody's older, and they kind of give it the same vibe of like, oh, she's gotta still do the same thing again. I'm like,
Oh, like the
but
original.
yeah, but she's old now. And so you're like,
Right.
it's just a different vibe where you're like, when you're young and you're trying to prove yourself and you're trying to like make something of yourself in life, it's got a different vibe. It's sort of a coming of age type film. And in
I
this
see what you're
one,
putting.
she's much older and she's still talking and behaving like a 20-year-old or something in so many of the scenes. And a lot of the quippy writing in it was, I've gotten really non-tolerant of standard quippy joke writing right now. Like, there's just
Okay.
so much of it in rom-coms type movies where you're just like, man, this is really shallow and everybody's just looking for a fun little quippy joke, but nobody's likable right now.
Yeah, no
And
one talks like this.
yeah, nobody talks like this. We're trying to make everybody too smart and too clever. It's like almost
Yeah.
got this like Gilmore Girls level of like, everything's got to be a little joke, but we haven't
Yeah.
established that we even like any of these characters or given them any depth yet. We're just quipping the heck out of you. And that was part of this film too, was just like everybody's funny and trying to make all their little jokes all the time, but no depth. Middle-aged Anne Hathaway acting like a teenager or young adult still, and you're like, but you're an accomplished person. Why are you doing all this stuff? And
Because it's a story.
yeah, it just didn't hit. It didn't hit.
That's fine. That's fair.
It was fine. It's watchable, but it's tough to see so much talent with such a weak script. And ironically, I said this while I was watching the movie with my wife, because so much of the movie is about like there's a backstory to the whole thing, which is kind of tying into modern times of journalists and writers losing their jobs because the new era of internet media and whatever is just kind of turning into slop fest. And so that's sort of like how she ends up at the company, is like there's, she gets laid off from her journalist position and ends up back working for Meryl Streep again. But I was like, oh, so much of the movie is about the quality of writing and journalism going down, and yet this script is absolute garbage. So I was like, it's just kind of ironic that the message is like, we're losing all this writing talent. And I'm like, yeah, well, it didn't go into writing this script because, dear God.
Damn. All right. Okay. Don't go too hard on him now.
I will. I just get good script writers. It always amazes me how many hundreds of millions of dollars they throw at productions, and then you're like, how'd you get this writing team? Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of favoritism, nepotism, something going on in the writing world where you're just like, these writers are not at the quality level of the actors and the cinematographers and everybody else on the team. So
yeah.
Anyway, that movie lacked good writing, unfortunately, but it's watchable. Any big game releases you're looking forward to? No. Yeah.
Well, the Beast of Reincarnation.
Yeah. Oh,
DC
and
Reincarnation comes out today.
nice.
There's big talk coming out. There's the Star Wars I can't remember what it's called. Star Wars Galactic Racer, but I don't think that's that. Zero Company, that's what it was. Zero Company. That's at the end of the month.
Okay.
There's the Gears of War beta, Call of Duty beta this month as well. So yeah, it's gonna be Hell at Loose Vietnam is coming on the 13th.
Wait, when is Galactic Racer coming out? Because that does look really cool.
Galactic Racer.
That it's so funny how everybody has such nostalgia for the pod race, because that was like kind of the best thing to come out of the prequel.
That's coming out in October 2nd or 6th.
Yeah. The everything in the trailer I've seen for the pod racing game looks incredible. All the gameplay stuff that they show. Everything.
Yeah, it looks fun.
And doing a non-car racing game is really hard. Like there's sort of throwbacks to like old school stuff, like that Nintendo racing game with Falcon guy. I can't remember. Falco. I can't even remember. There's like old school racing games that are like sci-fi and like Wipeout and stuff like that, where they're like,
I remember what you're talking about with Falco.
Let's make a racing game that's not about cars, or it's about hover things or whatever. And it's like, it's always been fun, and it's a big throwback. And I feel like the Star Wars pod racing idea is like a big throwback to this fun sort of sci-fi racing concept that doesn't really get made anymore, but it is getting made now. And you're like, great, high production quality hover racing game. So excited for it.
Yeah, I hope there's some depth to it. And it's not just slamming into walls and going as fast as, obviously it's about going as fast as you possibly can, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, right. I get what you're saying. If you can nail the mechanics where you're like, oh, there's a really fun skill progression to just turning and figuring out how to brake and use my boost at the right time. Like you don't need a huge amount of buttons to create depth. You just need nuance within the mechanics to create that depth. If it's there, then that could be really great, really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. If it just turns into a game where you're like, I just have to turn at the right time, like then you're less interesting, Exactly. Make me balance the power and shift the thing at the right moment, and then I can go faster out of the turn into the straightaway. Put some real racing mechanics in there. It'd be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, looking forward to that. I do kind of want to play Corsair Cove. I think that one came out of early access.
It's on Game Pass now.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Is it fully released now?
Fully released.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to check that one out when I have a little bit of free time, because I know that'll suck some hours out of my week for sure.
It's a solid title. I haven't beaten it, but the bit that I played, it felt like it was pretty well done.
Yeah. Maddie in chat also says that the new Spider-Man movie, which I think is in theaters right now, was super good. He said it's his favorite so far out of all of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. So
it's a high compliment.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Well, I think that's a good spot to wrap up the podcast.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thanks for dropping by the Level With Me podcast. We hope you enjoyed. We hope we're keeping you semi-informed on what's going on in the world of gaming. A little bit of playing games, a little bit of business talk, a little bit of random movie stuff. A smattering of what's going on. Yeah, that's our logo. We're a smattering of gaming content coverage. If you guys want to check out our podcast and support us further, you can check out our Patreon in the description and come watch us record it live and hang out a little bit for a post-podcast chat on things that interest us that may or may not be gaming related. But regardless, for the rest of everybody else out there, Matt is going to leave you with some very useful advice.
So I know you guys don't skip leg day, which is great. And if you are skipping leg day, that's my advice. Don't skip leg day. But my advice is, if you have just gotten done with leg day, be very careful of stairs.
Did you make a mistake, Matt?
No, I did not, sir. No. Let's just say it could have happened.
It could have happened. Yeah.
Yes.
We just don't want to share with the podcast that you fell down a flight of stairs. That's like an old person injury, you know, when you're like, oh my gosh, how'd they get hurt? Oh, they fell down some stairs, you know. You're not supposed to do that until you're like on that.
Well, okay, the legs were a little wobbly, all right? They're a little wobbly.
Oh man. Yeah. Good advice for sure. I've been to add to that, I've been doing a lot of mountain biking lately. And so a big thing in mountain biking is you bike to the top of the hill and then you go down a cool, like slalom style course of berms and jumps and all this stuff. Well, guess what? Biking to the top of the hill, by the time you get there, your legs are freaking tired, you know? And if you don't give it enough rest before you start the downhill, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I do not have the strength to like land this jump right now or like hit this feature. And it is terrifying. So yeah, you got to give yourself a little bit of rest because it's basically leg day on the way up. And then you're like, oh, I still need him for the way down. Whoops.
Yep. Good advice.
Yeah, thanks. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for dropping by the podcast. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.